Do blistered shingles need to be replaced? Hi everybody, this is Tracy Bookman, owner of Homestead Roofing. Welcome to our Walk in the Park video series where we take just a few minutes to answer questions about roof-related issues. Today's question actually comes from one of our YouTube viewers, Lori, who asked, do blistered shingles need to be replaced? Well, like the answer to so many of our other questions, the answer to this one is, it depends. If the blistering problem is systemic over the whole roof, so every slope of the roof has blisters on the shingles, more than likely that's a sign of a shingle failure, and it's probably due to the fact that the roof isn't ventilated correctly. And you know, it's not going to pose a real big problem for you in the immediate, but you're going to want to monitor it. Make sure that it's not getting severe, because if it starts getting severe, it's going to start exposing that asphalt underneath all the granules. Once that stuff starts to erode because of weathering, then you could start developing holes or pockets in your shingles, and you want to avoid that. It's really no different than if your roof was all beat up with hail damage. More typically, what we see on blistering is certain slopes have blisters and the other slopes are fine. And again, that's a sign most commonly of the roof not being sufficiently ventilated, or maybe there's no ventilation at all. Because what's happening is those sides that get the most intense exposure to the sun, there's too much heat and it's causing the asphalt in the shingle to bubble up, and then, you know, either that bubble breaks and all the granules dislodge, or that bubble then when it cools goes back down and still the granules wash off. But if only certain slopes on your roof have blistering, then that's a situation you're still going to have to monitor that. And if it gets severe, you're probably going to have to replace those slopes that have the blistering problem. But if your house is for sale, or you're planning to put your house up for sale, and you have blistering, systemic blistering over the whole roof, or maybe you know, half your roof is blistered because that's the exposure side, more than likely to sell that house, you're going to have to do something about those slopes that are blistered. You probably are going to have to replace those slopes. And the reason that you're probably going to have to replace those slopes is because those blistered shingles are going to show up in probably every buyer's inspection report. And a lot of times the home inspector is going to get up there and he's going to think that it's hail damage, because home inspectors and blistering can look like hail damage. And so a lot of times that's what we'll see home inspectors show that as hail damage. In fact, we're going to do a whole video just about home inspectors. We'll link to that. That would be right up here. But if your shingles, let's say you just spot issues, you know, shingle here and there has blistering, that's really not going to be any big deal, and you probably don't even need to worry about trying to replace just those shingles. But after Lori's initial question on our YouTube video, she actually followed that up with some secondary information, saying that her house is new construction and they haven't even moved in yet, and there's already blistering on those shingles. Well, and the blistering is all on one side, so on all the slopes that have the most sun exposure. That's definitely a sign of a shingle failure. And she said that there's no ventilation in the house at all, which I don't even understand how a new construction can get away with that, because that's not even a pass code. But in a situation like that, if it's a new shingle and there's already blistering, that's definitely a shingle failure, and that should be a manufacturer's warranty issue, so you need to get the manufacturer involved. So I hope that answers your question about whether or not blistered shingles need to be replaced. If you've got any questions about this particular video, about this particular issue, or any other questions, feel free to give our office a call right up here, 719-433-6991. You can also visit our website, That's right down here, homesteadroofingcolorado.com. We've got a ton of other information out there, lots of educational videos for you. If you like this video and it's been helpful for you, please give us the big thumbs up. We'd love to see that. And also, if you have questions that you'd like us to address on our video series, please leave those in the comments section down below. We read and answer all questions that show up in the comments section in our videos. We'd also love it if you'd subscribe. So click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that way you get notified when we've got new videos. And until our next Walk in the Park video, I'm Tracy Bookman, owner of Homestead Roofing.